I've talked to many people, especially younger people, who were surprised when I told them that I have been friends with some people in my life for over a decade, sometimes multiple decades. They look at me starry eyed, wondering and asking, "Wow, how did you do it?" To which I usually respond, "I don't know. It's just how it is." I didn't realize initially that I might be an anomaly in this regard because so many people in America are absolutely terrible in their abilities to get and maintain deep and meaningful friendships. Their only friendships are with people online, such as web forums, Discord servers, online video games, and such, or are colleagues with coworkers or people they see here and there, such as a cashier at a store or someone who frequents a certain establishment with whom they have fleeting interactions. It made me wonder, what are these people doing wrong and what am I doing right? First, I would like to say that there are always multiple factors for why someone's friendships might be shallow. So it can't just be reduced to one factor only for the most part. Having said this, I think we should first look at how society thinks about friendship and teaches us to make friends. For many people, a lot of their cues about human behavior come from social media websites such as Instagram and YouTube, to only name a few. While these sources might be helpful if you are looking in the right places, many of the information in these sources are presented in extreme scenarios, and many of the people presenting this information are also extremely cynical and impractical, not to mention coming from an ideological bent. Of course, we all have some ideological bent and some bias which shapes the way we see reality. So that's not necessarily always a bad thing. But when it comes to a lot of these people online, they oftentimes come with emotional baggage and trauma that has not been dealt with. And this spills over to others who have not experienced such trauma and inherit it from the people they choose to watch and listen to. In psychological terms, this is called vicarious trauma. In this way, you get the negative emotional side effects of someone who experienced a certain trauma without actually experiencing it yourself. This is quite common with people who are radical feminists and heavy red pill and black pill consumers. These individuals are bitter and they encourage others to be bitter like them. An example of misery loves company. When a person spends so much time listening to these individuals, they develop a dysfunctional way of relating to others, not just the opposite gender. They start to see others as expendable assets, only useful to you when you need them, but completely irrelevant when they don't provide some tangible benefits to you. In other words, these individuals have a hard time seeing the value of a friendship for the sake of a friendship. They see this as a waste of time and energy, and this will carry over into other aspects of their lives, causing them to repel those who would be good friends to them, ending up only with toxic and shallow individuals as friends. So, what would my advice be to you? Make sure you monitor what kind of content you consume online on social media. There are so many toxic sources and a few good ones. The good sources aren't hard to find, but you have to do your due diligence in finding them. This will transform the way you think about society and will help you raise your self-esteem, which results in attracting people of the same caliber into your life. It's very difficult to be a long-term friend with a low-quality person and get anything meaningful out of it. All you will get is toxicity. Next, make sure to check for any underlying mental health issues. A lot of times, Being depressed and anxious, to name just two popular issues, will prevent you from acknowledging that there are good people out there who will care about you and would be glad to be your friends. Seeing a professional is going to massively help you in this regard, but make sure you choose the right therapist who isn't strongly skewed in one ideological bent. Usually it's one direction, not the other, if you know what I mean. Also, I would say that from my perspective and personal experience, looking at this through a spiritual lens will be extremely beneficial. My Christian faith has helped ground me to reality whenever my thoughts would deviate into the darkness of negativity and depression. So, while part of this is due to psychological factors, I would caution against claiming that they're the only relevant ones. Reading the Bible, praying, and spending time with other good Christians has helped me tremendously, and so I recommend the same to you, my viewers. You need to be careful who you trust because, sadly, not everyone in the church is trustworthy, so you cannot just let your guard down immediately just because people in church are Christians. I've had many bad experiences with many Christians. But on the whole, my experience in the church was much better than my experience with non-Christians, who many times were quick to judge me because of my belief system. Either way, make sure you are aligned with people in your beliefs. Otherwise, things will just deteriorate into chaos, the thing you're trying to avoid. So that's it for this video. If you like this content, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and share to get notified about more videos like this one. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.